The limit this man is Basar v'Chalav, and I thought it would be interesting to connect Hilchos Basar v'Chalav to Inyana the Yom of Chanukah, and speak a little about the Halachos if one has oil with blias of Basar v'Chalav, if you could use it for Chanukah. The Piskei Tshuva over here in Siman Pei Zayin says that if you have a candle that's made out of Basar v'Chalav, we'll see in a second the case, but if you have a candle made out of Basar v'Chalav, you're not allowed to use that candle to light it up, that it should be light, you should see where you're going, any day of the year. By night it's dark, you want to use this candle to make it light, that's called nehena. And Basar v'Chalav is asa, you're not allowed to cook Basar v'Chalav, you're not allowed to eat it, you're not allowed to have hana. So just like we spoke in the past, Isuri Hana could be to give it to your pets and to give it to your worker. This is another oifen of Isuri Hana. You're not allowed to have Hana from a candle of Basar v'Chalav that's going to light up the room. Furthermore, the Mishnah Berurah in Hilchos Chanukah, Siman Tofresh Ayin Gimel, Sivkat and Beis, the Mishnah Berurah says that you're not allowed to use such a candle to light Chanukah, to light the menorah, a candle of Basar v'Chalav. Now, what's the case of a candle of Basar v'Chalav? The same we'll see soon is not only Basar v'Chalav, it's any other Isuri Hana, let's say Arlo, we'll get to it, Be'ez Hashem. What's the case of Basar v'Chalav? You have a candle that's made out of butter, of chema, but the candle was cooked, this butter was cooked in a pot, a fleishiga pot, and the blias came out of the pot into the butter. So now this butter is a regular case of Basar v'Chalav. It's not talking about a case that you have your olive oil that was cooked in a pot, that the pot had Basar v'Chalav in it, and blias. Not such a case. And that would make the case, make it much more relevant, but not such a case that you cook the oil in a pot of Basar v'Chalav. Because then the only thing that you have is blias, and like we learned Sivav, Peizayin Sivav, and now the Shachas Masber, that blias that come out, even though you're not allowed to eat this oil, because these blias of Basar v'Chalav, these Isser Achila, but Hana, there's no Isser Hana on blias. So Memela what? We're talking about that you have butter, and the butter was cooked in a pot, a fleishiga pot, and the blias came out of the pot into the butter. So now you have a regular case of Basar v'Chalav, and it's aser, you're not allowed to have hana, you're not allowed to light it. Not during the year, and not on Chanukah, it's aser b'hana. Now, before going into the reason and understanding why it's aser b'hana, not why it's aser b'hana, we know Basar v'Chalav is aser b'hana, but where is the hana, to phrase it better? Let's first go back. Why is everybody, the poskim speak about it, the hana? And what's about the bishul? When you light the candle, this candle that's made out of butter, so you're cooking up Basar v'Chalav. So forget about the hana that you have that lights up the room. Even without lighting up, let's say it's in broad daylight and you want to light the candle, l'chayri is a bishul. So firstly, the Shari Tshuva over there with the Mishnah Berurah and Hilchos Chanukah discusses this about the bishul part, and he says, firstly, it's talking about that you cooked it up already. In other words, you have the candle that was cooked before in a pot that was fleishiks, so you have already the cooking of Basar v'Chalav, and b'meila you want to cook it, reheat it now, and light the candle. That's bishul acha bishul. We spoke about this the first year, which means if one buys a slice of pizza Basar v'Chalav, a pepperoni, and wants to reheat it to give it to your cleaning lady, if you hold bishul acha bishul by Basar v'Chalav, it's mutter. You're allowed to. So therefore, you're allowed to light this candle, even though it's Basar v'Chalav, since it was cooked already. The Pri Begadim, it's a machlekes. The pashtus is that it's mutter. The Pri Begadim and others, you're allowed to reheat Basar v'Chalav. So this candle that you want to light, even though it's Basar v'Chalav, which l'chayra should be a problem when you light it, you're cooking it, but it was cooked already before, so ain't bishul acha bishul. Even if you want to tell me that Yesh bishul acha bishul, which means it was cooked already. And lamaisuda, those that are machmer, the pashtas, the poskim are not machmer, but even if you want to say to be machmer, that yesh bishul acha bishul by basar v'chalav, here it's not bishul. When you light the candle, since it's oil based, it's an oil, it's the chema, it's not cooked in water, it's not bishul, it's tigun. We spoke about tzli, broiling, these are machlekes apaiskim, broiling, if that's included in the isser of bishul basar v'chalav, to broil. Tzli, machlekes pre-chadash and the pre-toyer, the Hachaim, had to learn a pasuk, the machlekes lagabe broiling. But now, this is something else, this is tigun. And tigun, even if you're going to say it's aser to do tigun, even if you're going to say it's aser, but it's only the maram shitas and maram shif in chulin, but it's only a issa derabanan. So a issa derabanan of basar v'chalav, we learned this as well. A issa basar v'chalav derabanan, there is only a issa achila, not a issa ana, like the Shulchan Aruch says, and not a issa bishul, which we discussed. But the Kivega speaks out of cheshbon why the Shulchan Aruch didn't say bishul. In other words, back in the beginning also. Kol basar v'chalav she'ina asim in atayra muter bahana. But what's about muter b'bishul? Are you allowed to cook a issa derabanan of basar v'chalav? So says Rabbi Kivega, yes, you're allowed to. There's a cheshbon why the Ramah didn't bring bishul as well, just because of a different case. But you're allowed to cook it as well, and therefore, the menorah, lighting the menorah of basar v'chalav, there's no problem of bishul because ain't bishul acha bishul. Was cooked already. And even if you say yesh bishul acha bishul, first of all it's tigun, and tigun, frying, deep frying, there's no isser, or at most the isser derabanan, so mameli you're allowed to do such a type of bishul of tigun. And v'oi, the poskim say another reason why there's no problem of cooking, because cooking is only when you cook to eat. If you burn something, when it's l'sreifa, to burn something, over there is no isser bishul. The poskim speak about throwing into sreifas chametz. One person throws in a cheese sandwich, and one person throws in a meat sandwich. If there's a problem, you throw into certain garbages that they burn it. At least in the old times it was like that. So is there an isser bishul? The isser bishul is only when you cook something. Cooking means you cook to eat it. Even if you don't eat it, even if you're not going to eat it, there's an isser bishul. But it's cooking in a way in a pot to eat, as opposed to if you burn something, there's no isser bishul. And therefore, when you light this candle, whether during the year or for the menorah, there's no isser bishul. So we took care of the isser bishul by lighting this candle. There is no isser bishul. However, there is there's a problem of a hana, you being nehana from the candle. Now, we could understand why you consider nehana from the candle during the year. You light a candle, it's pitch black. You went out, you're camping, you have this candle that's a butter candle, which you could have such a candle, it makes a good smell. You have this butter candle, you want to light it. So it's aser because you're having hana, it's light, it's making light for you. But Chanukah, why Chanukah is there an isser? First of all, Chanukah, the halacha is that you're not allowed to have hana from the neiros of Chanukah. So since you're not allowed to have hana from the neiros of Chanukah, what difference does it make that the candle is basar v'chalav and it's aser b'hana? No, what difference does it make? You're not allowed to have hana from the candle, and since you're not allowed to have hana from the candle, so mameli, there's no. What's the isser hana over here? V'oid. What's the isser? You're not allowed to have hana if you're having hana, but you're not allowed to have hana, which means you're not allowed to benefit from the menorah. You're not allowed to have hana from the candle. So if you're not allowed to have hana, you're not allowed to have hana to cause a problem of isser of basar v'chalav.
For something you need to do. What's the definition of hana? What's saving you money?
You're saving money. Very good, Elia, and how Avram, how you're bringing it out. Lamaisi be'arviach money. Very good. It's a good shiloh. Lamaisi, you have such a hana. What money you save? Because if not, you'd have to go and buy a bottle of oil. Ramosha in a tshuva addresses this, and Ramosha says that that's not called hana. Why? The mitzvah to have to put on tefillin, to sit in the sukkah, he goes through all the cases. There's part of the mitzvah, there's no part of the mitzvah that you have to buy the tefillin. You have to put on tefillin. Obviously, if you don't have tefillin, so then you have to buy tefillin. But you don't. The mitzvah is to put on tefillin. That's the mitzvah. This that you have to own, you have to buy, give money to buy the mitzvah. That he calls as only a goyrim, and maybe it's not called hana. He addresses the question. So that's the first shayla. L'chayr you have no hana because l'maisi you're not allowed to have hana from the nearest of Chanukah. Which just a maimer amusker, that's Chanukah. There are certain cases where you could have hana, but the pasha says it's aser, you're not allowed to have hana. Secondly, these concept brought in the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah that mitzvahs lav lahanis nitnu, and therefore, if somebody makes a neder that he's not going to have hana from a shofar or from a person, that person could blow shofar for him, or he could have the shofar blow for him, even though he was moider hana, even though technically isn't he having hana from the person. The Torah says it's not called hana. Why not? Because lamaisa mitzvah lav lahanis nitnu. So ibazoi, even though, let's even say technically that you could have hana, but since it's a mitzvah, and mitzvah lav lahanis nitnu, since mitzvah lav lahanis nitnu, you're not having hana. So what's the problem to use a Chanukah menorah candles made out of basar v'chalav? What's the problem? During the year we understand the Piskei Tshuva over here, because during the year you're having hana and it's asur b'hana, but on Chanukah you're not allowed to have hana, it's mitzvah lav lahanis nitnu. Some want to say that mitzvahs lav lahanis nitnu is only by mitzvahs d'oraisa. And therefore, Piskei Tshuva brings this mitzvahs d'Rabbanon, you say mitzvah lahanis nitnu. So Mamela, it's asur b'hana, it's basar v'chalav, Mamela you can't use the candles of basar v'chalav. But one thing is important to point out, that even if Chanukah, we're discussing if it's asur b'hana, if it's mutter b'hana, Neiros Shabbos, even if you want to say mitzvahs lav lahanis nitnu, and even by a mitzvah d'Rabbanon, says the Bir Halacha and Hilchas Shabbos, you're not allowed to light the Neiros Shabbos from Arla, which is also another case of Isuri Hana, and says the Bir Halacha, the reason is, even if you hold mitzvahs lav lahanis nitnu, but Neiros Shabbos, the mitzvah is given for hana, either for shalom bayis or for oinik Shabbos, but it's given for hana. Since the mitzvah is for hana, you're not allowed to use arla, which means you can't use basar v'chalav. But anyways, back to Neiros Chanukah. Why can't you light a menorah from basar v'chalav? So before going into the teretz, I just want to point out, it was either yesterday, 2 days ago, Rabbi Avram pointed out a good shaila that lamaisa, what happens after the half hour? After the half hour, which even though the halachos the Mishnah Berurah brings, it's a big shaila if the oil becomes aser, huktzal, and mitzvasa, but you could put out the menorah after half hour. So it's interessant to shaila, what's going to be the din, even if you hold it's mutter, maybe afterwards it'll be aser. It's not a teretz on our shaila, because lamaisa, the Mishnah Berurah says it's aser to light the menorah with such neiris of basar v'chalav. Maybe after the half hour it's aser, but this half hour, mitzvah lav lahanis nitnu, you're not allowed to have hana, so that's for sure, you should be allowed. After the half hour, could be taka, would be problematic. So what's the teretz, what's the pshat why you're not allowed to? So Vaita the Piskei Tshuva, the Shari Tshuva within Hilchas Chanukah say you're not allowed to use neiris of Chanukah, of basar v'chalav, for a different reason. Not because it's asur b'hana, but not else the isser hana. The isser hana causes, just like the Gemara says in Sukkah, lulav shal asher shal iran idachas. Since you have to burn it, oimid li sarif kisarif, it's as if it's burnt. Kisuse mechze shura, which means you don't have the shear. These are shear of lulav that you have to have 4 tvachim, you don't have the shear. The same thing is by menorah. Menorah also is a shear. The shear by menorah is that you have to put in oil for 30 minutes. So you don't have the shear. And memele, you don't have the shear, you can't be yoitza dadlaka Chanukah. Ramoshe, a different tshuva, explains that kisuse mechze shura crushes it up and makes it into pieces. So even though the menorah is going to burn for 30 minutes, but you don't have a unit of 30 minutes of oil. It's like little drips that end up adding up the half hour to burn, and you're not yotzei. When you light, you have to light the menorah that has a unit of oil of 30 minutes of oil, and kisusei mechzashur ruins that oil. So we have like this. Now we're going to veer off a little bit from Basar v'chalav, get a little bit more involved into the Chanukah part, but mitzad Basar v'chalav, to light all year round, it's aser because you're nehana. That's a case of nehana. For Chanukah, it wouldn't be aser else the iser of Basar v'chalav, because lamaisa, first of all, there's no iser, you're not allowed to have hana, and also mitzvah av lahanestita. But there's a new problem. There's a hilchas Chanukah problem that lamaisa you don't have oil.
Why would you have to destroy it if you're using it to go after? You have to destroy anything that's believed as Basar v'chalav. This case over here, the Ramovi's down with the Fifis Arosh and destroy.
No, so there's a case, Chavifas Arosh, that's a case that it's only Blias, he's taking no Isser Ano. That sushtal is not a good sushtal. No, we're talking about, that's how it's makdim. It's not talking about that just you cooked up the candle in a pot of Basar v'chalav. The candle is chemos, butter is milchix. And you cooked it in a fleishiga pot. Now, this butter is a shtick Basar v'chalav. It's not just that Blias came into the water, to the hot water. The candle is considered Basar v'chalav. So it's asa ba'ana. Either it's nisraf, nikbarim, it's isuri ana. Yeah. We're not even talking about the din of burning. The isser ana. Over there. Is there such a thing? I don't think there's such a thing of an isser ana. Either you have to burn it, nisrafim unikbarim. You have to get rid of it. Trying to remember from that Mishnah over there that has the listing. It said Tmura increases. I could chop it up, but it brings Basar v'chalav over there. One of the two. I think it goes in one of the two. Either nikbarim or the srafim. Mi'idach. So far we have the shita, the poskim say that it's aser because lamaisa kisuse mechse shiura. The Aruch HaShulchan says it's mutter. You're allowed to use such a candle. You're allowed to use such a candle of Basar v'chalav. It's mutter. Why is it mutter? Because it's aser l'shtamish la'ira. So there's no problem of isuri ana. There's no problem with isuri ana because it's mitzvah slav lahanes netu. You're going to say kisuse mechse shiura, so you don't have the shear of the oil. So the Aruch HaShulchan says a few words, and a lot of the later poskim explain it more ba'arichas. He says that it's only when you need a davar gush. A lulav, you need a whole item. You need a lulav 4 tvachim. By oil, you need a unit cubic part of 30 minutes of oil. Let's say you could, they come out with a technology that when you have a wick with a mashu of oil, that could last for 30 minutes. So you're yotzei. So why is there a problem when it's chopped up into pieces? Tyrus Chesed Shalom, Tyrus Yeshuas Yaakov, now Libadal Chaim, Chanukah, Nissen Karelis, they all speak about it. That of course these are halacha. When you light the menorah, you have to light it at laka isamitz. You have to light it that it should burn for 30 minutes. Just a second, you have to burn it for 30 minutes. But lamaisa, even if you have to burn it for 30 minutes, and if you light it, there's only 10 minutes of oil. You add an oil. Over there, vadi, you're not going to be yotzei. But if you light it and it's going to burn for 30 minutes, why should you not be yotzei? So why should the ketuse mechse shura cause an issue of not being yotzei? What were you saying? In the menorah of the Beis Hamikdash, and therefore, they bring bedoimit to what you're saying. They say that v'harai you can make very thick wicks and thick or thin wicks, but often that it doesn't make a chilek in how much. But that's not near lamaisa. When you make thin wicks, then when you have the oil, you have 30 minutes of oil. If you have a very thick wick, it takes a lot of oil. So you have to have more oil. These taka no shear. The shear is has to burn for 30 minutes. If you have a thick wick and it goes out after 5 minutes.
It's gonna burn. Who cares if it's not there? I mean, it cares if it's burning, not the oil.
That's the tzad in the Aruch HaShulchan to say that it's mutter, because lamaisa, who cares how it burns if you have a whole bunch of little pieces of oil? Lamaisa burns for 30 minutes. You yoitza.
So it could be like if the kitutim sure makes it that there's absolutely nothing there at all, and it's burning on nothing.
But there is something there. Mine is burning.
But there's not.
There's shear. It says there's no shear.
You don't need shear. You don't need shear.
You just need a zman. You don't need
You don't
shear.
have to shear.
I was rather wondering, just to benegay your shaila, let's say they could come out with a wick that they could put in a certain type of DNA. They'll get to it soon. That you don't have to have any oil. B'chlal. Are you yoitze? Or the pshat is you need oil or wax. What? No, so battery, that's a shaila for itself, but that, because l'maisa, it sucks out the juice, whatever juice it is. That's what is a shaila of electric menorah. We're not going to get off topic, but electric menorah, the issue that would be, even if you have the right bulbs that you want to use for adlakas neiris, the thing is that it comes with a wire, and you don't have 30 minutes of juice to light. As opposed to a battery, you have it in the battery. Agav about that. But let's say you don't have anything b'chlal. I was wondering when we were handling this nidun, if let's say you don't have anything, is that also lamaisa? If the adlaka you burn and it goes, it's good.
If you say that because of kitutim you don't have anything. That is not.
But ketusim echtashure means you have nothing, or it means it's pieces.
It means it's nothing. No.
Sorry, what's your name again? Meir. Meir's pointing out, Rabbi side, that could be ketusim echtashuras, that it's command lesser. But lamaisa, I'll show you there's a Gemara. I think it's a Gemara in Chulin. I have to check up exactly where. But the halacha is, the Gemara speaks about it, and Rashi explains that you're allowed to use sand or dust or anything from Asherah or Iranidachas to do kisi adam. It's a Gemara in Chulin Taka. And the reason for that is because even Lu Yehei that it's ketusam echtasura, so Adarabba, let it be even more shredded up. If it's command less, you wouldn't be able to use it for kisi adam. It's there, but it's pieces, it's small pieces. But Lamaisa was saying here for the oil, what's the difference? Small pieces should be yaitza. What'd you say? Yeah. Oh, so you're saying the Mela there, Taka makes it completely command less. So very good. Aha. You say, I hear. There could be Taka over there. I have to check if the case is only by Kisi Adam. So it's Afron Mutter, so Mela Kedusam Echtasur, you can Taka still use the offer. I hear.
There's a Tamur in the end of the Torah that says the difference between Nisraf and the Nikbarim is that Nisraf and the Afron is Asur.
Yeah, Havada, that's a...
Nisraf and his Afron is Mutter, and Nikbarim is Afron is Asur.
So Mela, if it's Nikbarin, Mela, you can't use it. You can't use it even afterwards. You don't have oil, B'chlal, you don't have anything. One more Nekuda to discuss about this bus of a chal of oil, which Hana, L'chayr is no issue. We have a different problem that you don't have the oil here. L'chayr should be another problem. The Gemara says, L'gabi tefillin, I think it's a Gemara in Shabbos, the Gemara says that the tefillin has to be made out of the oil of the tefillin has to be made out of a kosher animal, because it has to be mehamut bepicha. You have to be able to eat the tefillin. The Rishonim and the Achroinim speak about, is it dafka by tefillin, because it says Laman Tia Toris Hashem Beficha, dafka by tefillin, or is it by other mitzvahs as well? You take a look in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah by shofar, the Mechaber the Ramah says that a shofar shall behema temeas psula. You're not allowed to use a shofar shall behema temeah. Why? Explains the Mishnah Berurah, because it's going with the poskim that hold that you have to have mehamuter beficha and a shofar shall behema temeah. You're not allowed, it's aser, you're not allowed to eat a behema temeah. However, he brings that these achroinim that argue that say you don't need mehamuter beficha. So l'chayr over here by menorah, let alone the bus of a chal of mitzad the iser anah. And let's say we worked out that ketusah mechtashu, you still have the oil, but l'chayr it's not mehamuter beficha. You're not allowed to eat such oil. Oh. So very good, you machaven the mamash pasha like that. The Marsham says, and also in Das Torah, Afanart and Hilchas Chanukah, he says that even if you hold me amutav aficha all over, when it comes to issa derabanan, you should know others argue. Reb Shlomo Kluger says that it's always aser. if you hold that it's only by Isidra, only by the Rabbanon, only by the Raisa, by the Rabbanon, you don't need the Ficha, so Mela wouldn't be a problem. So what's la halacha? We have a machloikis. The Mishabura says it's aser. We saw the Aruch HaShulchan says that you're allowed to use this oil of Basar v'chalav. Lamaisa, what happens if somebody lit a menorah from this oil? B'diavad. What's b'diavad? So the Pri Megadim in Psicha, the Pri Megadim says, and it's also a Marsham, that b'diavad it's okay. So we have a machloikis. The Mishabura says not to use it. B'diavad it's fine. Just to be besakim, we have oil from Basar v'chalav, a candle of Basar v'chalav. Around the year, you're not allowed to use it because it's asa b'hana. Lighting it bishul is never an issue if it's bishul acha bishul, and if it's tigor, and if it's sreifa, there's no problem of bishul. During the year, there's an isser ana. On Chanukah, there's no isser ana, because you're not allowed to have ana from the candle, and there's also mitzvah slav lahanis nitnu. However, there's a shaila mitzad mitzvah hadlaka in Chanukah. When you light the menorah, lamaisa, do you have 30 minutes of oil or not? And l'tchatchila, we see the Mishabura says you shouldn't use such a type of candle, but if you use such a candle, you yoitza.